Imagine you are in high school. You are trying to fit in because in high school, that was like the main thing, right? So I know for me, I was just trying to fit in. I was trying to wear the trendy clothes. I was trying to be funny. I was trying to be not an outcast. Social media nowadays, it's more popular because we got TikTok. We have everybody's on Instagram, Snapchat, on social media. There was a lot of cyberbullying. So there was bullying in person. You can get bullied in person, but then you have that risk of getting bullied online.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
For some reason, it was worse to get bullied online than it was in person.
Because you could say whatever you want.
Exactly. So a lot of people were more confident and more courageous to say whatever they want, especially if you're anonymous. Imagine you're like getting bullied online and there's an anonymous person is like bullying you and saying that you're ugly, you're fat, you don't fit in, your clothes looks ugly, you can't match, all this stuff, right? And then you're going to your mom and you're like, Mom, like, I don't understand, like, why are people bullying me? Like, what do I do? Like, how can I fix this? Like, and your mom obviously comforts you. She's always there for you. Yeah, like that's how a mom should be, right? But what if you start finding out that the anonymous person that was bullying you online was actually your mom?
Dang.
That's what happened to this girl named Lauren. She was a 13-year-old that was getting bullied online by her mother. And she found out a little bit later. And the things that her mom would say to her was literally crazy.
I wonder how she found out.
Well, we'll get into it. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. This episode contains discussion of sensitive topics that may be distressing for some audiences. Please take care while listening, and if these topics are triggering for you, we encourage you to prioritize your well-being. Welcome to T
and E
with the T. I'm your host, Teresa.
I'm your co-host, Edwin.
And today we're talking about cyberbullying. Okay, so I watched this documentary on Netflix. The documentary is called Unknown Number, the High School Catfish. So in this documentary, it's about Lauren. This girl named Lauren, she's from Beale City, Michigan. And Beale City is a small town, literally super small. So everybody knows everybody. There's around 294 to 312 people living there, right?
294?
To 312 people.
Just people?
Yeah, people living in that town.
What?
Yeah. So it's a very small town. Very small town. And
what year?
This was when this all was happening was around 2020, and then it went from 2021. But we'll get into it. So it's a super small town. There's literally like one stoplight and 2 bars in that town, right? It's in Isabella County. So a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people know each other. Everybody knows each other. And there's a high school. There's even a high school called Beale City. And in that high school, it's pre-K up until kindergarten, just in one building.
Yeah.
So that's how small it is. There's really nothing else to do in that town but to walk around. So that's just that.
But to walk around?
Yeah. Like there's nothing like, you know how here there's movie theaters, there's, whatever we can do. We do, honestly, there's not even, I know in Dallas, because I used to live in Dallas, Dallas, Georgia. And there was literally
for a good
nothing.
minute.
Yeah. Even the town in Dallas, like we have to go to Hiram to go to the movie theaters.
Oh, well, yeah.
In Dallas, there is now a Costco. There is now Starbucks. There's now, what's it called? Taco Bell. But we would always go to Hiram to go to these places. So it's always, I can kind of relate to that. In October 2020, the pandemic, you remember that?
Yeah.
The pandemic hit.
Everything shut down.
So everything started shutting down. But in the very beginning, right, in 2020, that's when everything started shutting down around March, around that time. And mostly people were on social media because we weren't able to communicate with each other in person anymore. I remember TikTok was like skyrocketing.
Yeah,
it was like
booming.
everybody was on there, right? And that's how we talked to each other. And so everybody was on their phones, and it was at the very end of that year, like around October, that's when school started opening up a little bit more in certain towns, in certain areas. And people were starting to go to school. Obviously, you wear a mask, but it wasn't, a lot of people didn't require it. But that's not important. I'm just saying that. But school was starting to open up again. And during this time, Lauren was going to school. It was like literally the beginning of the school year. And she was a freshman in high school. And which is crazy because she's 13, 14.
Freshman in high
She's
school.
a freshman in high school. I don't know how it is over there and how they do their system. She was 13, 14 years old, a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
So she was starting the new year, so she was really excited and everything was going great. I mean, when she started, everything was fine. And during that time, people, like I said, people started going on social media, so a lot of the cyberbullying was coming out even more because now you can't see the person in person. So now you're like, well, I can say whatever I want to say because they're not gonna confront me because they can't. So a lot of that was coming out.
Yeah.
And so with Lauren, there was this cyberbullying happening towards her and her boyfriend, Owen, at the time. So Owen and Lauren, their relationship, they knew each other since middle school. So they had a really strong bond. His family knew her family and they got along. They would hang out and all this stuff. So it was like this perfect couple. They were kind of like the golden relationship is what they called them. Yeah. And so literally, like, they were, I guess they can call it the high school sweethearts, but they went from middle school and then started dating in high school.
Middle school sweethearts.
I guess you can say that. Middle school sweethearts. But yeah, so they went from middle school up until high school. They started dating. And they dated for a good bit. But we'll talk about their relationship later. But yeah, so just know that their relationship was like a golden relationship. Like everybody like kind of not envy their relationship because of how perfect it was, but everybody looked up to it. Everybody was like, man, I want a relationship like that, But they're also very young. But neither here or there. But yeah, so that's basically a little bit of part of their relationship. Now, the start of the bullying, when this all started, Lauren and Owen were, like I said, dating. Owen had gotten invited to a Halloween party. Lauren wasn't invited, but Owen invited her. He's like, well, I'm not going to go without her, so I'll invite her. So I invited her to this Halloween party. And Lauren didn't want to go because of the people that were there. Some of the girls that Owen was friends with, she didn't really like. So she didn't want to go. Yeah. And eventually, like, I believe she didn't go to the Halloween party because that night of the Halloween party, she got a text message. And this text message read, "Hi, Lauren, Owen is breaking up with you. He no longer likes you and hasn't liked you for a while. It's obvious he wants me. He laughs, smiles, touches my hair. Not sure what he told you, but he is coming to the Halloween party and we both DTF." You know what that means?
That's his mom? Yeah.
So we're not going to get there yet, but she's just getting these text messages, right? And this is what is going on. Like, she's like confused. She's like, who the heck is this?
Cheating.
Yes. Because these messages are coming from a person that they put her in this group chat, which I'm not 100% sure who is in the group chat because there's only three people. I thought it was Owen and Lauren and then the unknown person. But it wasn't clear on whether if Owen was in the group chat because Owen was getting separate messages on the other side, and then like I'll explain later, but it just didn't make sense if Owen, or it didn't seem like Owen was in the group chat, but I don't know who was the other person. But anyways, so she says that, and then she says, "You are a sweet girl," or sorry, the unknown person. The unknown person says, "You are a sweet girl, but I know I can give him what he wants. Sorry, not sorry." Right? So
That's
obviously,
crazy. You already spoiled it for me. It's the
no,
mom.
I was just saying she because I was thinking of the mom. I'll explain later, but just don't think about that. I'll explain when it gets to that, right? Just think of the moment. Okay, this is what's happening in the moment. She doesn't know who it is. So she's confused. She's confused on what's going on. She's like, who the heck is texting me? Because I don't have this person's number. And then she tells Owen, and then Owen's like, I don't have that number. So they're like both confused. So these messages went on for a few times, but it did keep going on throughout that time. So um, a lot of people, or sorry, Lauren and Owen were thinking that it was the girls that were at the party. So the girls that, what's it called, Lauren doesn't like. So they were thinking that that's who it was. So Owen was asking around, hey, did you send this message? Do you know who sent this message? Like, who's over here, trying to harass Lauren? Mm-hmm. And nobody agreed to anything. Nobody said that, it was them or they knew somebody. Nobody said anything, right? But they didn't think anything of it because there was no beef with anyone. So Lauren didn't really have beef with anyone. She just didn't like them. Like, it wasn't like her friends. Like, she just didn't.
It wasn't the people she would normally hang around
exactly. With. So, so there was no beef. So there wasn't. They didn't think anything of it, right? 11 months passed after this text message, right? After the first text messages that happened. 11 months passed, and the messages came back. So this is how it starts. How's the happy couple? Preparing for the end of the golden relationship? We hear about how you are the forever couple. Some of us don't want to hear it anymore. Owen loves me, and I would always be the girl that he loves. He will be with me while your lonely, ugly ass is alone. That's what the message stated. So this was from the unknown number. So the same number that was, receiving, well, from what it seems in the documentary, it was the same number that was, that she was receiving messages from 11 months ago. What's crazy is that throughout the 11 months, it was silence. There was nothing going on. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it starts up again. So yeah, and it never stops. So it seemed like they were trying to break up Lauren and Owen apart, It seemed like they didn't really like their relationship for some reason. They
were jealous of it.
Yeah. So that's what it seemed, right? So Lauren thought it wasn't someone she knew because she would have had saved the number. So she was like, maybe it's somebody like, that sees me like in school or something, or like, I don't know, somebody, but I don't think it's someone close to me. That's what she was assuming, right? Mm-hmm. So Lauren tried to call the number a few times, but the number, they wouldn't pick up. They wouldn't pick up. And so then after she would call, they would immediately send her a text message. So they would say something like, bruh, Lo, stop fucking calling me, ain't answering. And when she said, when they said Lo, that's when Lauren was like, hold on, Lo, that's my nickname. So it has to be somebody that knows me now. Because not everybody knows that people call me Lo.
Yeah.
So she was questioning it now. And she's like, maybe it's a close friend. Maybe it's someone that I know that knows that they call me Lo. And so there was about 6 plus messages a day from this person. And it was on top of harassment, a harassment on top of harassment. It was just a lot going on throughout those messages. And I'll get into it. But basically the messages were saying things like fucking trash bitch, don't fucking wear leggings, ain't no one wants to see your anorexic flat ass. It was things like that. It was getting more and more intense as it went, and more inappropriate as they went. And so, this made Lauren question a few times, or like it made her question what she wanted to wear at school. Like it made her, I mean, she's 13 years old. When you get these type of messages, obviously you don't you don't think that is true, but you think that is true, if that makes sense. Like you start overthinking your decisions. You start overthinking on how you look. You start overthinking on what you're wearing because you're 13 years old. You're trying to fit into school. You're trying to fit in the crowd. So it's like, it's kind of difficult to not do those things.
Mm-hmm.
As a human being, that's kind of how, what I think we're kind of what we're wired to. We're wired kind of,
we're social beings.
we compare each other a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, she started questioning on what she wanted to wear to school, and like, leggings, because she called her anorexic and all this stuff. So it's like things that are really breaking her. And then these messages started getting more intense, like I said. So they would say things like, you are worthless and mean nothing. You never have. Get a fucking life out of here. Owen, he'll never look at you again or talk to you. You fucked his life up so bad his family fucking hates you for it, and he will never in his life acknowledge you. Get the fuck lost, bitch. He is fucking done with you. It would get so intense. And that's not even the worst part. But it would get really bad. Like, it would start getting to the point where it's like, what the heck? Does this person hate me? Like, why is this person, like, wishing that the worst for me? Like, why does this person hate me so much? Who is this person? So she started, like, getting frustrated, and her mom would say, like, things like, don't read that, like, don't worry about it, like, you know that you're beautiful and all this stuff, right? And when I was watching the documentary, there's a little quote that I kind of wrote of what she said, because I was like, we know that it was you. But anyways, she was like, I told her just to keep being her and just not even worry about anything, right? I didn't believe anybody would do anything harmful.
That was the thing.
That's what she said.
That's the thing that made you question?
Not question. Well, okay, to be honest, when I was watching this documentary, I kind of already knew who it was. I knew it was her. But like, when you watch it for the very first time, you don't know it's her until the very end. But when you now know, like, it's her that did that, when you listen back to that, it's like, what the heck? You're a hypocrite. Like, that literally was you, and you're over here, like, telling her, oh, relax, it's okay, don't believe that, you're beautiful. And then go in the back, like, you fucking bitch. Like, things like that. It's, like, crazy, But anyways, we'll continue. So Owen started feeling like he didn't want to go to school anymore because he felt uncomfortable, because he was like, who the heck is messaging? Because the person wasn't just messaging Lauren, they were also messaging Owen. So they would say a lot of things, now more intense, inappropriate, I guess that would be the right word, inappropriate, to where it would make Owen feel uncomfortable, because it's like, who the heck is imagining me this way? Because that's weird. They're 13 years old. 13, 14 years old, right? So here are other messages. My fucking tits in his face. Fucking make him horny, make him cream.
Hey,
Owen and
yo.
I down to suck finger fuck. His D word in fingers, my P word in mouth. That's how inappropriate the messages were
That's
getting.
her mom.
Yes. That is her mom. Yeah.
That's
So
crazy. And then she found out.
mhm.
What did she do when she
You
found
can't,
out?
no. You can't go that far. I'll tell you. I'll tell you when we get there.
How
But
much
we're in
more
this
text
moment.
messages?
There's a lot. Okay, let's
You
get
gonna say
into
all of them?
it. Yeah.
I
No,
don't
that I mean
know.
not all of. No, then you gotta get into the end. Okay, so we're falling into the story. We're going down the timeline. Okay, those are inappropriate messages. Why are you messaging a 13-year-old these things when a 13-year-old shouldn't be thinking about those things? That's crazy to me.
Yeah, that's very crazy.
I mean, we know that it's her mom. It's like, why would you?
That's even worse.
Why would you do that? Why would you
Man, I
say
want to
that?
talk about what like after.
We'll get to it. Okay.
Hurry up.
Okay. So Owen told. Okay, so Owen started to get really frustrated to the point where he was like, "Let me. I'm gonna tell my parents because this is getting way too far." So he
I
went to
was
his
just like
parents.
13.
Owen is also 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he told his parents because at first he was like, maybe I can handle it myself, and it's like, no, it's starting to get worse. So he told his parents, and his parents decided to take his phone overnight. So they would be looking through his phone and basically waiting for this person to message Owen, because like I said, Owen was also getting the messages.
Mm-hmm.
So they would read all of the messages from the very beginning from this unknown number. And literally, when they had Owen's phone, when they started getting Owen's phone and taking it away from him, I'm not sure how long they took his phone for, but they said that they were getting like 30 to 50 messages per day. Per day. Like,
Who has that kind of time?
exactly. Exactly. And we'll get into that. But, anyways, so it was a lot of messages that they would be sending Owen, in a day, and also, obviously Lauren. And so Lauren's mom, she started like she started talking about the situation about like, cuz Lauren also told Kendra, which is the mom, about this stuff. And she was saying, we were hoping for some type of action, right? Because some of the messages were happening during school hours. Unfortunately, in my opinion, I don't think the school handled things very well. So
Lauren's
they
mom
just,
said that?
this is what Lauren's mom said, which is crazy because it's like, anyways, it's you. Anyways, but so they had went to the school. So when Owen decided to tell his parents decided to go to Lauren's parents and be like, "Hey, we should go to the school and talk to them about this." And Lauren's mom was like, "Yeah, let's go." So they went, and Lauren saying now that, I mean, not Lauren, Kendra, which is Lauren's mom, is saying that they didn't do their job. They didn't handle it well.
The school.
Yeah, the school. But what the school did was basically they asked people, like they called people into the office. They especially called Lauren and Owen into the office and asked them a few questions. And they would go to random people and ask them like, "Hey, do you know this person, or have you talked to this person?" Like Lauren and Owen and stuff like that. And then what they would do, they would have, well, the friends, because now the girlfriends of Owen and Lauren knew about the situation. So what they would do is that they would say things out loud to see if in the messages something would pop up of what they said. Does that make sense? So they started, talking around people that they thought that would say something, and nothing would pop up. But then suddenly, whenever they would say it in front of Lauren, they would pop up. And they were thinking that Lauren was the one that was sending these messages to herself at that point. Mm-hmm.
What?
So the reason why
How
they
does that
say that,
work? Is there evidence of other people saying it?
no, so that's what I was saying, is that they whenever they would
Oh,
say
other
things
people
out
doing
loud,
that?
what do you mean?
Like texting themselves.
I mean, people are kind of crazy. They be doing whatever, for attention. But basically, they said that because of the fact that, whenever they would say something, when they said it in front of Lauren, it would pop up. But when they would say it in front of anybody else, it wouldn't pop up in the messages. So they were thinking that she was the one that was sending herself the messages. So it's insinuating, like I said, that she was sending the messages to get attention, since she was a very quiet person. So they were thinking, okay, well, she probably wants to fit in, so maybe that's what she wants, is attention. And then they were thinking that she was also doing that because she wanted to get closer to Owen and all this stuff. So obviously it was not true, but people were trying to figure out who was doing these type of things, and nobody said anything, and nobody came up. Nobody stepped up and said that was me, or nobody stepped up and said, oh yeah, that's so and so. Like, nobody said that. So they were like trying to figure out everybody, or trying to like kind of, yeah, trying to investigate everyone. The principal, when he called Owen and Lauren into the office, he ruled them out. So he was like, yeah, they definitely not involved. So it was for sure not them. They ended up looking through surveillance cameras during the times that Lauren will receive a message. Basically, the principal told Lauren, let me know when you get a text message so that I can look on the surveillance camera immediately and look at the time that you got the text message and see if anybody is like texting or on their phone or something like that, right? And nothing was found, obviously, because there wasn't nobody in the school, whatever. So yeah, so nothing came up, and then Owen's mom, Jill, which is Owen's mom, and Lauren's mom, Kendra, exchanged messages at that time. So they decided to come together and be like, hey, these are the messages that Lauren got today. And then, Jill's mom, Owen's mom, Jill, would be like, hey, these are the text messages that Owen got today.
You know what's crazy? She's kind of like hiding it pretty good, kind of.
Yes. She hid it very well from everybody. Like, when they found out, they were all shocked. So, anyways, let me continue. So, this is what Lauren's mom says. When we were together, we could talk about just about anything. Talking about Jill, Owen's mom. Really feeling like a support there. So she felt like there was a support within Jill, and like, they were coming together and trying to figure it out together. But it's so sad at the fact that she would do all those things knowing that she is sending the messages. It's like, what? I would feel so guilty. I would not sleep at night. But anyways.
I mean, she's doing it for a reason. She wants to do it.
Yeah, and we'll get into the reason that she came up with. But anyways, so they tried to block the messages. They tried to block the numbers that were sending these messages, but they would just come up with another number, or they would text them through another number. So it was like nothing was working. The only thing that they could do is probably change their number. But Jill, Owen's mom, did not want to change his number at all. They're like, no, I want to know who it is, because then we can get to the bottom of it and everything can end, not just like run away from it. So that's what she wanted, right? Mm-hmm. And she was going into the office and like literally going up there and crying and being like, you need to do something. Can you enforce like the restriction on phones or something? Like, and the principal was like, we can't do that because phones can be used as education as well. So it was just a lot of back and forth, a lot of things that it was a lot of things going on, right? And Jill was trying to figure out, mostly she was up in there in the school most of the time, but most of the time it was besides her, it was her and Kendra, which is Kendra is Lauren's mom. And so that's what they would do. But anyways, 2 months passes from the 11 months. Remember, the 11 months is when, after the 11 months of the first text message, is the other set of text messages, and then 2 months later passes. So now we're in the 13 months since the the first message, right? So Lauren started questioning the relationship between Owen. So this is when the relationship started falling apart because she started believing the text messages. She started feeling like this is possibly, what if this is true? What if he's cheating on me? What if something is going on? Like what's going on? Like why would they know so much, or why would they say so much about Owen and all that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And Owen would try to, confront her or like tell her like, hey, like comfort her and tell her like, hey, like that none of that is true. Like these messages are fake. I don't know who this is. So like try not to believe it. Like, me and you are good and everything. But it would just be really hard because they were always getting multiple fights because of it. And then they later on ended up breaking up because of these messages, because of how intense it was getting to Lauren, and she could not take it anymore. She was
So
like, I'm
Lauren
done.
broke up with him?
Well, it kind of became, it was like, it was both of them. So it was like an agreement between both of them. They're like, yeah, we can't do this. This is just too much. Let's not continue.
Mm-hmm.
So they ended up breaking up after 2 years of being together. And Lauren's mom ended up stating this in the documentary. She is saying this to Lauren herself. So she stated, you know who Owen is, and as a person, even if he didn't like you, he's not going to say these things. And unfortunately, it became a strain in their relationship. So she's saying this to Lauren, but she's the one that's saying these things. Like, I find it just so confusing to me, but whatever. So while she's saying all of this, while she's saying the fact that, like, they broke up and all this stuff, and that unfortunately it took a strain to their relationship, she was crying.
The mom?
Yeah, she was crying when she was saying that. So it's really, really, I don't know how to describe it, but maybe it's because of how they kind of recorded it or edited the documentary. But it's just like, wow, you're crying, and then you did this. But anyways, a lot of people were. I found this documentary because of TikTok, because a lot of people were talking about her and saying like, you're a horrible mother, because you're over here pretending like it wasn't you, but it was you all along. And you were saying such horrible things to your own daughter and even to another minor. Like,
I have no clue how somebody can do that.
I,
What was her reasoning?
I'll tell you in the end. Okay, so that was happening, right? And then more disturbing messages came in. Kill yourself, bitch. His life would be better if you were dead. Warning, you finish yourself before we do. So they were starting to get more
That's weird. Your mom says that?
intense. Like she was threatening her life. Imagine she took this to the point where she was like,
She actually
yeah,
committed
yeah,
suicide.
exactly. And we'll get into that because they asked her that question. They asked the mom that question, and
In
she
the
has a
video?
response. Mm-hmm. But we'll get into that. So once all this started, like once they started the person, because they don't know who it is yet. Once they started, saying these things to Lauren and kind of like threatening her life and all this stuff, the police started getting involved because the parents were like, which I don't know if Lauren was involved in this, but I know Jill was like, we got the police involved. So they had a sheriff named Mike Main.
Jill?
Jill is Owen's mom.
What is Owen still doing in the picture?
Owen's also getting the text messages.
Still? Even though they're broken up?
They're still getting text messages. I mean, he's still getting text messages. Mm-hmm.
What the heck?
Yeah. So they ended up getting the police involved. Sheriff Mike Main is the person that was involved in this case, and they were very concerned because it could lead up to self-harm, right? Because they were starting to say things
Those
like
are
that.
some hurtful things.
Exactly. So they thought that somebody was not going to tell anyone. So anybody that was doing these type of things, they were not going to tell anyone. They were going to keep it to themselves because they got to this point and nobody knows who was doing it, right? So they're still thinking that it's a student. So now messages were starting to talk about her in basketball, Lauren, because Lauren played basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So they were starting to talk about the scores and then all this stuff. And so,
She sucked.
yes. So Jill asked Kendra about who was in the teams because Kendra, which is Lauren's mom, she was a coach for the team. So she volunteered a lot in Lauren's school. And she was a coach for the team. And when Jill asked her this question, Kendra was like, in the documentary, she states, "This is where I started to really think, okay, is somebody on the high school team jealous or envious?" So it's like, huh? Why are you asking these questions? I don't know if the people in the documentary told her to say these things or told her to ask these questions, because it's like, why would you think of, because you know it's you. But anyways, let's continue. So, she, so one day, the unknown person sent like basically points of the night before of the game that Lauren was playing in.
Points like tips.
Points of people, like people that shot a certain amount of points. So she was saying that some sort of amount of points, and she stated 12 points in this text messages, and they didn't really state what the message was, but there was in the messages they talked about a certain amount of points, and it's specifically 12 points from what it showed in the documentary. And these 12 points, obviously, like I said, Kendra was involved was a coach of the basketball team. So Kendra and Lauren ended up trying to look at the scoreboard, and it was this girl named Chloe Wilson. So now they were like, it's her.
Because she knows the exact
She's the one.
records of all that.
Chloe was friends with Owen and had a crush on him for a while now.
Perfect.
Chloe and Lauren did not like each other at all. They just didn't click. They were in the same, like I said, they were in the same team. And she wasn't the nicest person. So she was very competitive.
So it sounds like a perfect fit.
Yes. So Chloe was very competitive. So she was just not the nicest person when it came to, playing on the court or whatever. And she just seemed very, I guess, from what they said, stuck up. Well, they didn't really say that word specifically, but that's how it made it seem like. And yeah, they started looking into Chloe. They started thinking that's her. She's the one that's sending these text messages. So they right away started investigating her. Supposedly, people were thinking, okay, she's going to get away with it because her dad is a police officer. So if she doesn't get in trouble, it's because of that, right? So her parents ended up going into the principal's office, also talking about the situation, also getting interviewed, and they were like denying everything, and she was denying everything. She was like, "I didn't do it. Like that was not me." And other people were coming up into the picture, and this girl named Sophie was now being involved as well because Sophie was friends with Chloe. They were saying that, okay, so Sophie could be involved too. Sophie has to know something. So Sophie's mom ended up taking her phone away to try to look through her messages, and nothing came up. Nothing came up. She didn't know anything. Chloe was saying that it wasn't her. Everybody was denying it, right? And they were looking through her phone. She ended up giving her phone into the police officer to be able to download the files on her phone and everything. And they didn't find any messages. They didn't find anything. So they were like, so it's not her. So they kind of ruled her out in a way. But Lauren and Jill, Kendra and Jill, which Jill is Owen's mom, Kendra is Lauren's mom, they were pushing it. They were like, it's Chloe, it's Chloe, it's Chloe. Like, you guys gotta like investigate more. And they were like, we looked through her phone. Nothing came up. So it's not Chloe. So messages started appearing like it still was Chloe, because they started like pointing the finger at her, like making it seem like oh, it's me. Like, you get what I'm saying? Okay, so this is one of the messages. Bitches, I talked police yesterday. Then fucking kept my phone, fucking searched it, found nothing bad. So it's like they know that Chloe was the one that, you know, turned her phone in, and they know they didn't find anything. So like they're the person that was the unknown number was kind of making it seem like it was Chloe.
So weird.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, why? Why would she want to do that? But whatever. I mean, I guess she was a perfect
Oh
victim.
yeah. Chloe, yeah, definitely.
It was
No, but
just
I'm
her.
thinking like, why would the mom do that?
Mm. So there was even pics sent to Owen of Chloe and Owen, of them together. So it was like definitely seeming like it was Chloe, right? But they started questioning and they were like, why would they want to reference himself so much in these text messages if they didn't want to be found? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, why would she admit now in the text message that it is her, but they're still not wanting to be found? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So they were questioning and they were like, it can't be Chloe. Somebody's trying to frame her. And so
That's where I think she went wrong because she shouldn't have been trying to frame
exactly.
Chloe.
Like now you're trying to now you're seeming fishy. Now there was this picture sent to Owen. No, I'm sorry. There was this picture sent to Lauren of Owen in the back seat of his car, and it's of a black phone case, and you can see Owen, but you only can see his arm. You can't see his head, and you can see that he's in the back of the car. Who the heck sent that picture? Well, obviously we know that it's the mom, right? To this day, I don't know how she took that picture, how she found it. I don't know. That seemed fishy to me. But anyways,
That's weird.
she sends the picture and she says, "Bruh, Lo, we digging his new black phone case for real." So the only person at that time that could have taken that picture, supposedly, could have been his cousin, Owen's cousin, Adriana.
Mm-hmm.
And they started investigating Adriana. And they started asking her questions because Adriana is a very quiet person as well. So they were thinking, okay, well, she's very quiet. She probably wants attention as well. So let's start investigating her. And Adriana, she was like, no, that's not me. I didn't take that picture. I cannot believe that you guys think that I would ever do that to Owen, to Lauren. Like, I don't have any beef with Lauren. Like, I like Lauren. Like, why would I do that to my own cousin? Like, that's not me. It traumatized her a lot. And so it was just really sad at the fact that they're pointing fingers to everybody. But it's like, what can you do at that point because you don't know who it is?
Yeah.
But
they're trying to find some kind of clues.
exactly. And then one day, she gets a text message from an unknown number.
Who?
Adriana,
What?
the cousin of Owen.
That's crazy.
And it says, "Hey Adriana, Owen needs your help. We need to get Lo gone away from him. Tell his parents Lo, a bitch, fucked up his life. You hate her too." And this scared her. So she didn't answer, and she immediately told her parents about it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
In a town of 300, so everybody knew what was going on.
Yeah. The whole school knew. So obviously the parents knew.
That's weird.
Everyone knew what was going on.
Why would she keep doing it?
We'll get into it. Let me continue.
Girl,
So
you need to get on
be
with
patient.
it.
So spring of 2022, messages kept going on nonstop, and Kendra and her husband Sean was starting to get into a lot of arguments because of this situation. Because Lauren would come home and she would not be herself anymore. Like, it would just be very difficult, and supposedly,
Should be dull.
yeah. And then supposedly, Kendra would tell Sean, I'm handling it. and literally was not doing anything because nothing was being done, and then the messages were still coming.
Mm-hmm.
So Sean was getting frustrated, and he was like, we gotta do something else about this. And she's like, I got it, whatever. They literally went through 4 houses at the time of the text messages because of how crazy it was getting. They were hoping like maybe let's start a new start. I mean, let's start a new chapter. Let's get a new home and all this stuff, and maybe it would
They went
help
through
her.
4 homes.
4 houses. Mm-hmm. So, and at the time when they would be moving, he would be asking Kendra to help and all this stuff, but she wouldn't be doing anything, and he would have to come home and pack everything up after work and pack everything up and
Is
move
this the
everything
only
himself.
daughter?
This is the only daughter. Mm-hmm. And they eventually ended up packing their stuff and everything, or he ended up packing their stuff and everything. So it was a lot. It was intense for the family at that time. So Jill was still very upset. Jill is Owen's mom, and she was still very upset, and she's still wanted to basically find who this person is because these messages kept coming up. So it was she wanted to basically get the FBI involved. So now the FBI is involved in the situation, and they extracted Owen's phone. So they literally found nothing that linked into the messages or linked to who it could be. So they didn't find anything in his phone. 17 months passed after the first messages were sent. And Owen ended up going to Peccony, Michigan, for a kind of a game or something. And he ended up meeting a girl there. So he met a girl there. And this girl, one day, randomly texted Owen and said that, because they were talking, they were dating or whatever. So this girl ended up texting Owen and was like, hey, I just got a message from this random number. Now she's getting text messages.
I should get her number.
I don't know. I don't know. That was never said. So
it was confirmed that the mom was the one texting.
I'll get into it. But yes. um. So yeah. So now she's getting text messages. So now Owen's like, oh my god, no, like it's happening again. Now she's getting text messages, and it started getting really, really bad. She started getting text messages. He started getting text messages again, like basically saying like, back off, he's mine. That's what the text message was saying to the girl.
So she's obsessed with Owen.
It seemed like it. And they ended up breaking up. So they didn't continue the relationship anymore. So Owen started getting really angry. So in his games, in his basketball games, he would be not. When he would get like upset in the games, it wouldn't turn physical, but
it would be aggressive.
It would be aggressive. So he was starting to be that way, and his parents started noticing that. So his parents were getting really frustrated. So again, the FBI started investigating even more, and they ended up tracking one of the numbers to an app called Pinger. So they submitted a search warrant to Pinger, and they gave them the Pinger gave the FBI 2 IP addresses that belonged to Verizon. And then the FBI ended up submitting a search warrant to Verizon, and they sent them documents of phone numbers that was connected to the IP address.
Who? The Owen's mom?
FBI.
Yeah, but Owen's mom got the FBI involved in everything?
Yes.
And she was tracking all this stuff, right?
Yes.
So Lowell's mom didn't know any of this stuff?
Lauren's mom?
Yeah.
So it's not very clear if Lauren's mom, Kendra, knew that the FBI was involved. I'm not 100% sure.
Because I'm sure she would have backed off.
I don't know. I mean, she got the police involved. But anyways.
Yeah, but I bet you she knows the police,
I don't know. I don't know what was her thought process in this, but I don't think. Okay, now that I think about it, I don't think that she knew that the FBI was involved because of her reaction of when she found out, when they confronted her about it. But I'll get to that. The mom ended up sending all the friends' numbers of Owen's, and they started doing their research and started doing their things and stuff like that, and nothing connected to the phone number. Nothing was connected. So Jill was like, okay, let me just dump all my contacts. So they dumped it. She dumped all her contacts to them, and she sent it to them, and they started doing their research, and one phone number connected to that phone number, and that's when the FBI was like, okay, this number is being connected to this phone number, and she was like, oh, that's Kendra, that's Lauren's mom, and that's when everybody was super surprised at the fact that it's her number was being connected to this other number, to the IP
It had to
address.
go all the way to the FBI for that to happen.
Yes, because it seemed like the police officers were not doing anything. They were not putting in the work.
Mm-hmm.
So they got a search warrant, and they needed recorded evidence. So they got a search warrant to go to Lauren's mom's house, to Kendra's house, and basically collect anything. They can collect her phones. They can collect her laptops. That was the warrant. What was the warrant for? And they go to her house, and you see this in the cameras that they have. And this is when a year passes after, a year and a half, but whatever. So when they go to the house, they get to the front yard. I believe it's the front yard or the backyard. I don't remember. But she's already outside. And they're like, hey, we got a search warrant. We need to talk to you. Can you give us all your devices? Any laptops, phones, anything like that. And she's like, is everything okay? And he's like, yeah, we'll go talk. We'll talk inside. So they took her inside. And they were like, okay, well, the situation with your daughter and the cyberbullying and these messages that were, that she was receiving and also Owen was receiving. Do you know anything about that? And she's like, I mean, what do you mean? And they were like, well, basically, your phone number connected to the IP address that was connected to this phone, that phone number. And she was like, what are you talking about? She's like, how? And then they were like, well, the FBI did an investigation and your phone number was connected to it. She's like in shock. She's like, oh shoot, they got me. Like, she was just like, So she was kind of admitting, but not at the same time. Like, she was admitting by not denying. Does that make sense? So the police was like, okay, well, like, you gotta tell Lauren. Like, you gonna tell Lauren or what? And she was like, no, it's just like, I don't know. I don't know what to say. And then they were like, well, you gotta say something because we gotta put it into this. Like, this is done. We found out who it was, and it's you, and you need to tell your daughter. So they were like, so are you gonna tell your daughter, or do you want us to tell her? And then she was like, can we bring her here? And then they were like, yeah. So they bring her into the room. Well, it's like a living room or a kitchen. It's kind of connected or something. And they told Lauren, they're like, well, we kind of know, what's going on with the situation, and it kind of seems like, it came back to be your mom. And Lauren is over here like, I'm not Lauren. Kendra is over here all up on Lauren, like hugging her, like, oh my god, I'm so, like that. And I'm like, you were over here telling your daughter to kill yourself, and you're over here like trying to comfort her and all this stuff, but it was you all along. And so Lauren is in shock. That's what she looks like, and she's just sitting there, and she's just listening to the police officer talking to her or whatever. This is the sheriff, actually. This is Sheriff Mike Maine. They tell Lauren, call your dad, because we got to inform him too that this was going on. So he comes up, and they meet him at the door outside, and they tell him, they break the news to him. Your wife was doing the messages. She was the one that was texting your daughter. And he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, so your wife was behind all of this. And also, just to let you know, your wife was also not employed through this whole entire time. She did not have a job for about a year.
Well, she was lying that she did?
Yes. She would get up every morning, like if she was going to go to work, and she would be like, I got stuff to do for work or all this stuff. But at the end of the day, she was over here on her computer texting Lauren and Owen. That was her job. She was doing that nonstop. That's why the messages were 30 to 50, because she was not employed. She didn't have a job. She was let go by both of her jobs. And her husband did not know that. And so when he finds that out, the police officer tells him that, and he's like, what do you mean she wasn't employed and all this stuff? And he's like, yeah, she wasn't employed. And then he goes inside. He asks Kendra, so what's the situation that you weren't employed for a whole year? I mean, what's the situation that you weren't employed? Were you let go? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, for how long? How long were you not employed? And she was like, for a while. And he's like, so you were lying this whole entire time? She was like, yeah. And he's like, well, for how long? And she was like, I don't know, like about a year. And he's like, you can't be here anymore. He's like, you need to get your stuff and leave. This is done. We're done. And she starts crying, and she's like, no, I can't leave Lauren. And she grabs Lauren. She's like, I can't leave her. I can't leave her. And Lauren starts crying because I guess it hits her.
It's her mom.
It hits her, and she's like, I can't leave her. I can't leave her. Like, no, like, I'm sorry and all this stuff, right? It was just so sad to see all of this in the surveillance or the camera on the police officer, because it's like, it's crazy that Lauren found out that her mom was telling her to do all this stuff to herself, and then also like saying these things about Owen, and it's just weird. It's weird. So everyone was in shock when they found out that Kendra was doing all this. And Kendra states, every single one of us makes mistakes. Not a single one of us has lived a perfect life. And realistically, a lot of us have probably broke the law at some point or another and did not get caught. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm sure people drove drunk, haven't been caught, right? But again, if you get caught, you're in the same situation I'm in, but for a different thing. They only know a part of my story, not all of it. So she started hearing a lot of things, started hearing a lot of backlash on the fact that she did this to her own daughter. And she's like, well, they don't know, like, they don't know my whole story. They don't know why I did it.
Trying to justify herself.
Mm-hmm. So that was what she was stating in there. But everyone before, like, they thought that Kendra was such a great mom. Like, she did not come off as a person that would do that to her own daughter, because they were really close. They were like literally best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And she would always be with Lauren and everything. So it didn't seem that Kendra would do these type of things. And when they asked her about the messages, she was like, the first few were not me. But after that, it was me. The first few wasn't. So the Halloween story about the Halloween, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly that was her. But it doesn't make sense. I guess it's weird. Because, I mean, first, I don't know if it was the same number. And then second, who would say that? And
Yeah.
why?
And then why,
And then
like,
continue later on.
they took a break after 6 months, right?
11.
11 months.
So almost a
Maybe
year.
that was the first job that she lost.
Maybe. I don't know. But that was the first set of messages were supposedly not her. That's what she stated. And then that the rest was her. And when she sent the messages, she stated that it was because she wanted to basically get down to the bottom of the messages, like find out who were the first few that sent those messages. So she was like, so I wanted to know um, who was sending the messages in the very beginning. And so when I started texting those messages to them, um, I was trying to get them to say something or like say a name or be like, oh, is this so and so? Just trying to get the bottom of who was sending my daughter these messages. But it doesn't make sense because why you wait 11 months to do so? Supposedly. Right?
No, it still doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So it's like, what? You confusing everybody. Like,
Yeah, she's trying to make it just like, look at that point of view.
she's trying to she's trying to make it paint it a pretty picture, but it's not a pretty picture.
She's trying to justify herself.
Yeah. Um so yeah, like I said, she wanted to get to the bottom of it, whatever. The moments that she was sending those messages and the horrible things that she would say to Lauren and Owen, she wasn't in a good place mentally. She she says that it was a different person, that it wasn't her. Basically saying like, um, insinuating that she didn't feel like herself, and all this stuff. But it's like, I don't know. I don't think I believe that too much. But she had
Me neither.
she basically had she states that sorry it
Let her.
no, it let it consume her. So that character, quote unquote, the character that she says that she was playing, um she let it consume her to the point where she couldn't stop. So supposedly it started off with, I wanted to try to find out who this person was that was sending those messages to my daughter. And then eventually I got to the point where I couldn't stop anymore.
It makes no sense. She has to have like some kind of psychological thing.
So people were thinking that she probably is mentally not okay. Like,
yeah, she's definitely not okay.
like something is going on, but then she brings up a point like, oh, it was trauma from my past, from when I was young and all this stuff. But I was like, to say all those horrible things to your daughter is crazy.
Very
Like, even
crazy.
if you had a past or even if you had all these things, to say those horrible things to your daughter is insane. Who knows how far it would have went if the FBI did not investigate? Like, what if your daughter?
She went to jail.
Yeah, she went to jail. But we'll get into that. But they asked her this question. They were like, well, like, what if your daughter would have committed suicide? What if your daughter would have hurt herself? Did you ever think about that where you're not afraid of your daughter doing that? And she was like, to be honest, no. But because I knew Lauren and I knew the type of person she was, and I knew she would never do that. But it's like, how do you know? A 13-year-old being said these things? You don't think that they would want to do something? You don't think they would feel some sort of like hatred towards themselves? Like, it's just so sad. She says, I might have kind of picked up on some of her insecurities. But honestly, the messages weren't targeted at her insecurities. Doesn't make sense. You told her all these insecurities, like saying that she was anorexic and all this stuff, and she was like, and then she says, oh, but I wasn't trying to pick at her insecurities. Kendra was arrested. She was she was charged with 5 counts, 2 counts of stalking a minor, and 2 counts of communicating with another to commit a crime. And she pled guilty to the stalking to the stalking counts. And she was sentenced 19 to 5 years in prison or in jail. And she was released on parole on August 2024. and is under supervision until February 2026.
That's crazy.
Why is it crazy?
Because she was sentenced 25 years, but she got out on parole.
25 years?
How many years?
I said she. Are you okay? You sleepy? Okay. She was sentenced to. I can hear you. Sean was granted full custody of Lauren. And Lauren was able to contact her mom while she was in jail Mondays and Wednesdays. So she still talked to her mom, and they sent each other emails and stuff like that. And the emails were like, "I love you. I miss you so much." Like from the mom, "I love you. I miss you so much. I wish I was here with you," and all this stuff. Like, it's like,
Yeah, she has something going
it's
on.
just
The
weird.
cuckoo.
Yeah. So yeah, so it was just a lot. It was just crazy for me to really understand or to grasp, but whatever. So Lauren, she doesn't feel like herself without her mom. So she was like, "I really miss my mom." So she's not able to see her mom after when she was released. She still hasn't seen her. It's been already a year and a half since she hasn't seen her mom in person. And she's like, I don't hate my mom. I love her. She's like, I'm always going to love her. She's like, I don't understand why she sent me these text messages and why she said all these things. And I never asked her, like, why did you tell me to basically kill myself? But we have talked about it, and I just don't understand. But at the end of the day, that's my mom. And I still love her, and I do miss her. And I hope that one day we can rekindle our relationship. She's like, I don't know how, if we can be close in the very beginning, but I would want to get to that point. And so Lauren and Owen no longer talk. So they're not friends. Owen really hates um, Kendra, and so does Jill. They don't like her. They're like, why would she ever do that? And Lauren obviously sticks up for her mom. So they don't talk anymore. And then yeah, and then what's it called? Her dad, Sean, um, doesn't like Kendra at all. So it's just iffy.
It sounds like something happened since I feel like maybe she like lost her two jobs. So maybe she went through something very psychological.
That's what she was saying. She's like, mentally, I wasn't okay. Mentally, I was not stable, and I let this consume me. So
Did
that's
she
what
have
she
a
was saying.
perfect life? She had a really good life.
I mean, she had her family. She had everything. She had a job.
She had everything she ever wanted.
Yeah.
There's a psychologist that says that supposedly if you have all your life in order and everything is good, you're in paradise. Hakuna Matata. After a while, you're gonna do anything in your power to destroy it.
Why though? Why do they say that?
Just to have something to do.
Something different?
No, to have something
You
to
know,
do.
that kind of makes sense. It's like when you're in a relationship when everything is peachy perfect, like there's no drama, no nothing to feel like that sort of like I guess not excitement, but like sort of what is it called? Adrenaline.
Mm.
People start wanting to argue. People start wanting to find things to see if they're cheating or something like that. Something more like, I guess, quote unquote, exciting.
Yeah.
And so because of that, because of they're just like, it's just too perfect. We
Yeah.
need to find
That's
something.
weird. And also a whole like aspect of like humanity is like if you're too comfortable, you start becoming like very numb
Hmm.
and dulled of the moment.
Yeah, it was her mom all along. And she found out, and it was just something that I don't know how it would feel if I found out that my mom was over here telling me to kill myself and all that stuff. I don't know how I would feel about that. And then, oh, and they also said like things like, well, she was being really weird to Owen. Like, even when they didn't find out that it was her sending these
Before.
messages, yeah, she would be like cutting his steak for him. Like, he's salty, he can cut his own steak. She'd be cutting a steak for him. She'd be texting him randomly. She'll go to every one of his games, even after they broke up, even after Lauren and Owen broke up. Owen did state that he felt uncomfortable. Like, at times it would get really weird. Like, she would just be really, like, clingy to me. So they were thinking like maybe she was obsessed with him, and maybe she was like had a crush on him or something, and she was just
Went crazy.
this was true.
That's crazy.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Comment down below what you guys think. Any concerns, any concepts that you guys want to talk about.
Thank you guys for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.
Make sure to subscribe. Deuces.
Bye.